Welcome everybody to our graduation ceremony. This is cohort 3, our winter cohort, and I could not be more excited to have these wonderful faces in the room with us this afternoon. So I'll introduce you to Kasia, who's going to be our MC for this evening. Kasia flew all the way from Vienna. Welcome, Kasia.
Good evening, everyone. As Eleni mentioned, I flew from Vienna, arrived today at 5 a.m. to be your host today. And let's kick it off with the first keynote. I would like to invite to the stage Sharaf Giovanni, OPE. Please welcome to the stage.
Thank you. Okay. Hello, everyone. Congratulations on a very, very important day. I'm Sharaf, and I wanted to say a few words, really in the form of congratulations, a way of marking a very special day for all the hard work that has happened over the past few months. And I was talking to Cara just now, actually, just before we started, and we were talking a lot about the need to be grounded around the reality of our users. People were helping and serving through our products and being really, really driven by their needs. And I know you're working a lot in healthcare as your project over these past months. And I was speaking to a very senior doctor in London who is retiring from the workforce just because of the technology she's asked to do. She just finds it impossible to manage. And someone with about 40 years of experience, a very, very, very practiced someone who's leaving our workforce for that reason. It just reminded me how high the stakes are around it. And what I'm going to suggest, perhaps as a bit of a sort of discussion today, is the need to add a generational lens to thinking about product. Yeah, and so we have a lot of generational stereotypes out there. I grew up part of my life in the Middle East, and one Arab proverb is that the son of a duck is a floater. The son of a duck is a floater. And so one of the things that I've been thinking a lot about that, is that true, is that not true, etc. I try to write books, I think about leadership more widely, I help organizations when they're going through inflection points, and I'm worried about our most endangered species. So the double black-billed platypus, the white rhino, and of course, the optimistic Gen Z. So those things, again, it's very easy to make, I have to share a story, just how to show how easy stereotypes can happen. I brought in actually, to help with that endangered species piece, a rare breed of dog into our household for the first time. I'm not a big dog fan. I also hired a Gen Z to work in my business. The dog lasted about 9 months. We had some fairly significant boundary issues. So I would try and take the dog out for a Sunday walk, and he kept resisting. And it's only then I realized he didn't believe in working on weekends. And then I would try and throw the ball as hard and far as I could, and kept asking annoying questions like, was this ball ethically sourced? And he kept seeming much more interested in chasing his own side balls along the way. But it was the title inflation that really did it for me. Within a few weeks, he would only answer to lead canine, and then a few weeks later to woofer in chief. So obviously some jokes there, but if you think about the Gen Z, he lasted actually 6 months. And in fact, the longest period of time we had together, the longest meeting, was his exit interview. That was the one meeting he insisted on us having. And in it, he gave me some pretty tough feedback. He told me that I put him on too tight a leash. So just that whole thing, again, there's going to be so many stereotypes, and I was obviously making stereotypes in that Gen Z joke, of course. But I remember starting work centuries ago, and there was a very clear mantra on how work functioned, which was really, it was all about suffering. So I would, and I should say I'm raised as a Hindu, and implicitly I believe in suffering, I guess. I believe you start life as a cockroach, maybe move up to a mongoose, and then maybe a duck, and then a human being, and so on as well. But I remember working as straight out of university, these crazy all-night gigs, producing a PowerPoint from the partner of this consulting firm where I started work, and I'd be so when it was 8:30 in the morning, I'd be soaked in sweat, handing this pack, this really freshly smelling partner, and He'd be wearing a shirt about 3 times my monthly salary. But when I became a manager, it was Empire Strikes Back. So I would send my team, who were working overnight, these little voice notes along the lines of, I really believe in you. I don't want to interrupt natural genius at work, but please do check that third spreadsheet because I haven't had time for it to. And I would, in the middle of the day, put a jacket, we used to wear jackets those days, put it on my chair and put a big note on the desk saying, do not disturb, important meetings in progress. And I'd go off and explore all the best of what the West End had to offer. Cats, Miss Saigon, Dim Sum Duck, Swingers, the golf course that is as well. So all of those things. So this was all before Friday work from home and so on as well. So again, I think sometimes we have these stereotypes of generations. I was quite, I don't know, naughty. I did lots of things as well when I was starting work also. I want to switch to another proverb, another Arab proverb around the duck fears ripples in the water. The duck fears ripples in the water. And what I'm seeing in the workforce nowadays is a little bit of reluctance for generations to have honest and open conversations together about some of those stereotypes. I know, for example, a number of older workers are no longer in the workforce. So that example of a doctor is a good one. How do we have those honest conversations? That's something I'm thinking about, some new research I'm doing. And I'm thinking about how we have conversations that allow us to be our best selves. And one example of that around perspective. And so those of you who are going to go into incredible careers in product, you'll have, I'm sure at one point, a really, really important element of your roadmap. Right? There's a feature or a new product enhancement or a new product overall that you feel is going to be really, really critical to the future of the company or the charity or the startup, wherever you're working with, government agency where you're applying your amazing, amazing skills. And you're so excited when you go and do this presentation, you don't even worry about slides. You almost want to do it like a TED Talk, and you make the case. Okay? And you do it really well, you really smash it. And at the end, I know you're going to be sharing some things today. At the end of the presentation, someone on the investment committee or committee will put their hand up. His name is almost always named Harvey. And he will say, look, that was a very interesting presentation, but I'm very, very worried about overstretch. And he will sort of pronounce that word overstretch very, very deliberately. Of course, the only thing Harvey is overstretched out of is his armchair, but you've got to play the game. You sort of talk about some cautionary tales where companies are not being bold enough on product. So look at Kodak, which was destroyed by Fujifilm. Look at Blockbusters. Remember Blockbusters, who were destroyed by Netflix. Boris Johnson destroyed for not staying at home and watching Netflix. So all of these things as well. But at the end of it, that willingness to really have a perspective is very important. Often we do it at these very important governance things or investment committees or product committees. I guess what I'd love us to see is to see if we can have more honest conversations about when we design products itself and with workers of different generations in the workforce. That's the only way I think we'll be able to really have a common point of view. And I think if we can work together in the workforce, we'll also be able to take that understanding to really help our users and help and serve them better. And that doctor example is a really powerful one there. So the first thing is around perspective. The second area is on authenticity. And I was lucky enough to do my undergraduate at Cambridge University. I was not the kind of kid who aced every exam or was top of my class at all. I had a very stubborn English teacher who just saw something in me that perhaps no one else saw. I was not very creative. I was very creative, but I didn't have a creative family background in that sense. And he literally one day forced me into the back of his car. It was safeguarding standards are a bit more relaxed in schools these days. Drove me up the M11 and waited outside various admissions offices till I convinced myself I was going to apply. And that act of stubbornness pretty much, made a big dent in my life. And I'm using that because I feel that often we have what psychologists call the Johari window, right? We can't see what other people can see in ourselves. And one of the great things of a program like this is the chance to work with many other people, yourselves together, but also all the mentors and people who've been helping, Eleni, of course, as well, to help break that Johari window and really get to who you are as a person. And that goal of being the best person best version of yourself you can possibly be. So that second area of authenticity feels very, very important. The third area was around connection. And when I started when I was interviewing for jobs, and many of you I know will be looking at some really exciting interviews to take forward your product careers. I did it in consulting, and there was always these stupid questions, right? One of them I hated was, how many ping pong balls are there in the world? If anyone wants to guess that, tell me what your best answer. But I never thought these were great questions at all. And I had my first partner, the one I joined, was a guy called David. But he went for a very different approach. He asked me about something that I already cared about. So at the time it was tennis. And he kept asking more and more questions about tennis. You know, what do I like? What players? Why? And it went out of interesting. What was going on? Why did he do this? And what I realized was that what he believed was that if you went deep into something, if you're all in, threw yourself in it, stretch yourself to the limit, were deeply curious, if you could be, tennis, tiddlywinks, wine, whatever it was, you could transfer that to the world of strategy consulting. So that need for connection, he was looking for, would I connect deeply with something? And what was interesting, when I joined the firm, he made a lot of effort, for example, after the end of a client meeting, to take 5 minutes to say, look, you did this really well. He told me once that I told the CEO of the company that he didn't know what he was doing. I do that for a living nowadays. But he was very honest. He opened up new opportunities, opened up new networks, new ways of seeing the world. And I would argue that your time at Kimolian has really done that, built a lot of new areas for connection, both of ideas and people. And that's something to keep going in your careers and product, to keep forming those connective tissues, especially across generations. Okay? So perspective, authenticity, connection. And the last area I'm going to talk about is around this idea of experimentation. So there was a very famous Secretary of State who passed away recently called Henry Kissinger. Does anyone know him? He was there when the Cuban Missile Crisis happened and lots of big events in the world. And he had back to generations, a young policy aide who worked for him for the first time. So first week in the job, I think the Cuban Missile Crisis was in full swing. He asked him to prepare a policy brief. So the aide comes in, he's super nervous. Poor guy, first job, first day on the job, drops off the policy brief, end of his first day. Within 3 minutes, Kissinger says, please come in. And he says, was that your best work? And the aide looks a bit sheepish and said, okay, sorry, I'll go back and do it again. Next day, and the next day comes back, drops it off. About 5 minutes later, next time, call back in. Is this your best work? Okay, I'll do it again. This happens for 2 more days. Imagine this is the first week of this poor man's work existence. On the Friday, he drops it off, gets called back in. It's just, is it your best work? He says, Secretary of State, it absolutely is. And Kissinger says, okay, I'll read it then. So that's obviously a good example of sort of excellence. He had a very high bar. I do think post-pandemic, we've been a little bit scared in the workforce across generations to give each other perhaps honest feedback about what excellence really looks like. And that example of a doctor getting a product 80% right, or in terms of meeting user needs versus 100% or 95%, can make or break someone's career. It can really, cause a lot of either joy or frustration. You have a lot of power in your proverbial hands. So I think what Kissinger did do was really have that bar of excellence. What I think he could have done is allow more time for experimentation. He could have said, look, why don't you come and sit down with me? Let me show you 3 different briefs. Let's talk about the pros and cons of each style. And he could have helped the young person find their own unique way of writing the briefs, their own unique style through that area of experimentation overall. So I guess what I want to leave us today was this idea that you will have a lot of influence in the world through these really exciting roles, or you already do, and now that's going to turbocharge after Kimolian. Please take that with a high degree of joy, of purpose, and also responsibility. You'll make a big difference in people's lives. And one lens we often forget about is that generational lens. It's easy to make the Gen Z jokes I did. They get some cheap laughs sometimes, or less you have. But the deeper point, though, is that there's a lot in that generational piece to think about, both in terms of the kind of colleagues you work with. I know many of you have been multi-generational in your cohort, but also in your workforces, but most importantly in terms of the people that you're helping and serving. Think about that generational lens and think about those areas of perspective, authenticity, connection and excellence as ways to break some of those barriers down, so we can ultimately develop better products and make a bigger difference in the world. Thank you very much for everything you've done to be on this program. Thanks to Kimolian, to Melanie, and everyone else who's been part of this incredible journey, and wish you all the very best for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Shlef, for a very insightful keynote.
Thank you.
Can I get the
Oh yeah,
microphone?
please. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So now it's time to watch the presentations of our wonderful graduates. We will have 3 teams presenting, starting with luminaries. I would like to invite to the stage Aya, Daria, Kara, Jill, and Marianne.
Okay, good evening. Yes, we are 3 on the stage and 2 virtually with us in spirit. So Aya and Daria can't be with us today, sadly, but they are going to be speaking to you in the presentation. And you have Jill, myself, Cara, and Marion. So without further ado, we are the Luminaries, and we created a product called She Venture, made for women by women. But first of all, we want to take you on our journey. So what we started with when we joined the cohort was an opportunity space about helping underrepresented women find financial independence and overcome the barriers towards that. So in terms of how we interpreted that opportunity space was to help female entrepreneurs access the right skills, tools, and networks to actually be successful in their business. That was our target goal. Our target group, we decided to lock in on female entrepreneurs of any age and at any point of their journey. So nice big broad space to work with. We actually interviewed 16 women of all different ages, background, and experience. It's really diverse. We were awfully lucky to have such a collective mix. And the opportunity that we then really ground in on, so the job to be done, was when going to market with a new business, product, or idea, I want guidance, support at each phase of my journey, from business strategy, key milestones, and scale up, and potentially exit plan if you're doing really well, to increase my chance of success. We then define that into a story map based on the solution that we wanted to take to market, which is She Venture. And we mapped the assumptions and built assumption testing framework as well. We're at the point where we've created a prototype, and now we actually want to run some tests to gauge the strength of interest in the market. So we didn't quite make it to the top of the mountain, but we do have our roadmap, and that's what we're going to talk to you about today. So without further ado, this is Sarah Johnson. She is an inspiring entrepreneur with a strong business idea, eager to start her own venture. That venture does include emotional ups and downs in the journey, but she's also seeking professional and emotional support to ensure that she's successful from like-minded women who've been there before her. We're going to move on to the problem, and Mary's going to take us further.
So, women in business make sense for the economy. It's not only diversity, but it drives inspiration and innovation, which all translates to money. However, women have a problem. There's a gender funding gap. So, female-funded businesses receive an average of 1.5 million in funding, whilst male-funded businesses get 6.2 million in funding. So that on average, men benefit from 5.9 times more funding than women. Now, some people might think it's because men are better. You know, it's easy to think, well, maybe they're just better at pitching or they demonstrate greater skills than females do. But no, an MIT Harvard study which isolated gender by swapping the voices on pitch found that 68% of investors still chose to fund the pitches voiced by men, and only 31% funded the ventures voiced by women. This was the same pitch, the same text, nothing changed aside from the voices. But women are still managing businesses, and they are still being innovative and they are still starting businesses. Why? Because they are circumventing some of the problems that they are facing. A PwC interview of 40 successful female founders across 25 different countries found that when we hear that men are more concise and women are more empathetic, their takeaway is not to become more like men. It's just to say, okay, if I'm pitching to investors and I'm getting too emotional or to investors, maybe I just need to step back and rethink my approach. Maybe I just need to be more concise. So women are blending some of the skills that the men are using in order to circumvent the issues that's happening. Another study found that female founders of an art platform called Witchsea, when they were sending emails to VCs to try get meetings, they were receiving no response. So what did they do? They invented a fictional male co-founder. When they did that, bam, they started getting responses. So women have already locked onto this unfair disadvantage. It's completely just because of gender. So they're circumventing it in different ways. So this brings us on to our solution. We want to empower female entrepreneurs with a comprehensive guide right from the onset. Almost like somebody is holding your hand from when you conceptualize your idea right through to starting it up and taking it back wherever it is that you want to take it to. It's going to be something that will shield you from the setbacks. We want to arm women with all the setbacks that they can face so that they can overcome it.
So in order for us to be able to identify the right solution for our female entrepreneurs, it was essential to start with understanding the competitive landscape and what the other competitors in the market were offering. So in this area, we analyzed the 8 direct competitors, and we considered in our analysis both perspectives, business operations, and what features did they offer. So from business perspective, for example, it was essential to understand the service scope. You wanted to understand what kind or what part of the female entrepreneurship journey they were covering. Was it mentoring? Was it funding? Was it networking? Or was it a mix of all? And secondly, it was important to understand their business model. How did they price their products? Was it a subscription tier, or was it a one-off payment? Because this would help us later on in deciding our revenue and cost structure. And it was essential also to understand the unique value proposition, or what was unique about these solutions and what gaps that they have, so that we can ideally or uniquely identify our proposition. And from a feature perspective, we wanted to understand what kind of technology they offer. Was it algorithms? Was it personalized recommendations? Was it AI? And what else? And we wanted to understand what format did they deliver the solution on? Was it a web-based or a mobile application? And finally, we also wanted to understand what kind of audience did they target, and in which region, in which industry, because this would help us in shaping our product strategy and vision.
Now that we have analyzed the competitive landscape, it was time to hear from our target audience to understand more about what kind of challenges they faced and what are their desires and needs. So we conducted a round of user interviews with around 14 participants from different backgrounds and different industries. And as you can see in this slide, it features the most important highlights we got from these interviews, and which conveys the top needs and pains that they are facing. For example, most of our participants expressed the need for some guidance along the journey, because it's not easy to navigate through this entrepreneurship journey on their own. They would love to have either an emotional support network or a professional support, or even both together would be better. Another thing that they faced difficulty in was finding the right calibers or the right team for their businesses, or finding co-founders, like-minded co-founders for their businesses. Another thing, which was an area that is hard to navigate as well, is finding the right funding options for their businesses and how to approach investors. And this is an area they would like some help and guidance in as well. And lastly, and which was conveyed as the problem at first, which is how the most of the funding is going to male founders and not female founders, and they would like to have a solution that can change the situation for them.
So we looked at the pains and needs of our female entrepreneurs, and what our research shows that women just face significant isolation. Networking and getting funding can sometimes appear to be a men's club that they may not know how to get into. So women face challenges in having a supportive network. And when you're not networking and you're not speaking to the right people, it's hard to then go and pitch and get the funding that you actually need. But if men are networking and they're doing this on a daily basis without even calling it networking, it's easier. They're already in the game and you are always kind of somehow behind catching up. So we identify gaps in the market as being an AI-driven personalized solution. So there are many other organizations that are offering mentoring, funding, or networking, but not all three. It's not comprehensive and it's not holistic. So this is where our solution with She Venture comes in.
All right, so that leads us straight into what our actual unique value proposition is. So we're a bit of a one-stop shop. So rather than women having to go to lots of places to find what it is that they need, we're bringing people together into one platform. It's got highly impactful AI personalization to really contextualize information and drive it for our users. Female entrepreneurs are not a homogenous group. Females are not a homogenous group. They have different interests, they have different needs. So really harnessing the technology that's out there to be able to connect them to appropriate people, to be able to push them a little bit outside of their comfort zones as well within our community of women bringing together, but crucially providing that mentoring and resources to be able to help them access and bridge the gap to getting funding. That's the sort of main goal of this. We really felt that having a robust resource library was key to support in terms of being, rather than having to go off to other places to be able to access different types of resources, integrating this all into one solution, making it that sort of targeted place for women to come together. In terms of our unfair advantage, so what do we have that no one else has? So we're using existing technology. So no one's trying to reinvent the wheel here. There are great algorithms out there. You know, we already did a comprehensive market analysis of this. There is technology that exists that we want to draw down on and build upon. But again, it's that contextualization to our audience. So there's great community platforms that are out there. There are great mentoring platforms that are out there. There are great resource libraries that are out there. How can we bring these together rather than creating proprietary tech beyond this? And we've got great partnerships. People have believed in this solution. You know, we've had women, industry-leading entrepreneurs already backing us within this, and we can only seek to build on this. There's a clear gap in the market for this moving forward, which we want to solve moving forward. And finally, it's that network effect. That's going to be one of the key things in terms of growing our solution, but also enabling women to really help each other and support other women. It's a snowball effect. We've already spoken to a cohort of 16. You know, we've had other people who have come to us as a result of that, saying that they were interested in what we were trying to do and what we're trying to achieve. There's a lot of spaces out there where women come together as women to try and help each other. And by harnessing that, we'll be able to really take that forward. our product strategy. So in terms of our vision, so this is really about empowering underrepresented women. So entrepreneurs, we've heard all the stats, you know, women are disadvantaged in the marketplace out there. We, as I said, it's that AI-driven platform that we're moving forward with, and all of the wraparound resources that go into that, but to support women to challenge and be able to have a sense of equality within the space, to overcome the barriers they're currently facing, and to have a platform to be able to do that. So in terms of our business goals, we've got quite ambitious targets that we want to support. We want to support 25% of female startups across 2 years, and predominantly using our mentoring as a tool to help them access equitable funding. So opening doors for them that they don't necessarily have access to already, creating a level playing field, and being able to build the confidence, be able to build the skills. So like Marianne was saying, in terms of all of the pitching and all of the way that women are necessarily characterized when they come into this space, being able to push back on that. So, and in terms of our product goals, 500 new users within 3 months. It sounds ambitious, but as I said, there's already a great network out there. There's already forums of women who are gathering, who are female entrepreneurs. We're just tapping into what already exists to build on it and to bring them together. We want to have 100 mentoring sessions facilitated within 6 months, and being able to support then being able to generate our own website traffic off the back of that by 30% in 6 months as well. We've got other product goals behind that, but those are our kind of top 3 that we wanted to share with you to really show how much we're putting behind this and what we think is realistic and achievable as well.
So in terms of channel marketing, well, there's no one channel anymore that's really influential. There's a blend of everything. So we're fully aware of that. I'm going to talk to 3 and leave strategic partners for last, because that is actually quite crucial. So the first, digital channels, of course, website, SEO, mobile and social media, and really focusing on targeted advertising as well. Again, being relevant to our audience is really critical. Community engagement, as Jill was mentioning, really leveraging the network and the community and enabling them to share their success stories and to actually be advocates for She Venture as well. Direct outreach, of course, through email campaign referral and influencer collaborations, which actually leads to what I feel is one of the most important ones, these strategic partnerships. So we really want to be part of the community and really actually be enabling female entrepreneurs to be successful in whichever stage of their journey they're at. So women in business associations, there are many, and of course we do want to bring them together. Accelerators and incubators, and again, it's just knowing half of the battle is just knowing this information. So shining a light on these strategic partners is really critical to the success of our product. Financial institutions, because again, one of the quotes from our interviewees was that she just needs a sounding board. She needs someone who knows the framework of putting together a VC pitch, so that she can actually bounce ideas off of them and really make that pitch a lot more stronger. Educational platforms as well, it's also really critical in enabling women to empower themselves through tools and the latest technology. So the customer segments, we talked a lot about female entrepreneurs of any age, any background, but it's the journey that links them. So there will be female entrepreneurs who've been successful in the business and looking for their next venture, or are considering to actually take that first step towards a launch. Others would have launched a business but have struggled to scale because they didn't come into it with a 5-year plan from the get-go. And there'll be, unfortunately, women who have just stumbled on successfully launching that business. They've hit a roadblock, and that's due to funding requirements because they haven't been able to scale. So these are the segments that She Venture is actually going to support. And as I said, it's comprehensive at any stage of their journey, but all connected in terms of that journey, not in terms of a demographic or demographic. Cost structure. So I just want to highlight 3 in terms of the presentation that we think is very important. Fixed costs, of course, in year 1. We do take into account the product creation, website hosting, app hosting, which will be our main driver, customer support, email, and insurance, of course. The variable costs that we need to take into account over the 1 to 5 year period would be further development costs, predominantly based around the app, supporting costs in terms of staffing for marketing, increased functionality costs. We have a lot of MVP that we want to share with you in terms of features. And of course, looking at the chat functions, keeping it very real and immediate for our users. Indirect costs will be marketing for both sponsorship and community games as well.
We have developed a diverse range of revenue streams to ensure sustainable growth while providing value at every level of engagement. We would like to start with a freemium model because for products that are community-based, freemium models have proved to be quite efficient in terms of building the initial user base. Our subscription model will form the core of the revenue later on, offering tiered plans from basic to enterprise, catering to entrepreneurs at different stages of their journey. We've complemented this with one-time purchases for specialized content and events, allowing users to access premium resources as needed. Our marketplace and advertising offerings will create a win-win scenario, generating revenue while connecting our users with valuable opportunities and partners. And finally, our high-value consulting services and data insights provide additional revenue streams while delivering personalized support and market intelligence to those seeking to accelerate their growth.
So as Cara mentioned, we didn't quite reach the top of our mountain. There's always a lot of next steps to go in terms of tech development. So we've got a number of assumptions tests that we still want to run. Some of it is about our costing model, particularly around our freemium, to check that. Another one is about our scalability and for our acquisition, because we've got quite rapid growth model in terms of making sure that we've got support function, that we can grow our tech on the back end, everything like that. It's one of the really key things for us to move forward with. We want to develop our enhanced prototype for MVP. We've got a lot of features that are already within our roadmap, and we've had to strip back quite significantly. And then we want to get some great user testing feedback on that to really help drive that. We've already had lots of inputs, but a bit more A/B testing to help us move forward with what's critical for MVP, and then what we can further put into our roadmap, or what actually might not be relevant anymore. Let's see what our users want. Once we've iterated our MVP, we will scale up our testing. It's always important to have those continual feedback loops, and they're built into our product strategy, but a little bit more before we actually want to go out and evaluate impact for our testers and create those crucial user stories. So for those who've been invited to the platform for our early stage, for our early adopters, our ambassadors, our mavericks, whatever we want to call them, how has this helped them in their journey? We want real life stories to be able to push forward. We want their critical feedback, but also we want to make sure that what we're doing is right. And off the back of this business model, it's at the heart of everything, sadly. But we'll need to refine that for moving forward. And we'll have better insights there in terms of where our added value is, what type of events we've been attracting people to, what type of features people will pay for. And so we can certainly build that out a little bit once we've got a little bit more of data intel of people actually using the platform. We will then prepare for full launch, which only gets one bullet point, but it's actually quite a big process for us. And then, as mentioned, we've got that lovely product backlog already in there. We're going to start lean with our MVP. The focus is absolutely on mentoring, because that's a crucial part. From there, we're going to build out those lovely community elements that we've been talking about, that network effect that we want to create. Also our resource library and our other wraparound support features, but keeping lean to start with, and then moving forward, lots and lots of exciting things to come. And then we talked a little bit about our success metrics so far. They are ambitious, but I think the key thing that's driving us forward is really in that bottom corner. So really supporting female entrepreneurs in securing funding to support their businesses. All of our product is based for impact, and that's what we're driving for. So some of these are product metrics, but really that's what's keeping our goal in mind as to why we're getting up in the morning to do this and what we want people to be able to achieve. So, and that is the end of us.
So the next team up are accelerators. I would like to welcome to the stage Kate, Samira, Gillian, Tolu, and Alison. Ladies, the stage is yours.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm excited to introduce to you Elevate Her, which is an initiative by Team Accelerators. And this is designed to empower women entrepreneurs. Our mission is to provide women with the tools, the resources, and mentorship that they need to overcome barriers and to achieve their business goals. Our opportunity space is all about enhancing the financial health of underrepresented women. These women control a significant portion of consumer spending, and they often face systemic barriers. By providing financial educational resources, we can help them achieve economic independence, which in turn fosters business growth and strengthens communities. In the discovery phase, we set out to understand our target audience, which are women in small businesses. We conducted 20 in-depth interviews with women entrepreneurs from the United Kingdom, Austria, and Nigeria to uncover their desires, pain points, and needs. It's actually important to note that nearly 13 million businesses are started by women, which represents 39% of all businesses. However, all women teams receive just 1% of VC funding. And this actually highlights a significant gap that we aim to address. From our interviews, we identified several key opportunities that could significantly support these women, and these include the need for mentorship from experienced entrepreneurs, building strong community networks, providing access to financial and business education, offering flexible programs that fit their schedules, helping them create lasting legacies, and providing guidance to scaling up their business. To illustrate our findings, here is a snapshot from one of our interviews. This particular interview stood out because of a memorable quote, which is, by placing a mentor in every woman's pocket, we are not just sharing knowledge, we are building a community of empowered women leaders for tomorrow. This quote perfectly encapsulates our vision for Elevate Her, which is creating a supportive community where women can learn and grow together.
In our ideation phase, we establish clear goals to not just support but significantly enhance the capabilities of these entrepreneurs. We realized that mentorship tailored to specific business needs wasn't just a service but a necessity. Our vision evolved to connect these business owners with experienced mentors who can provide target, impactful guidance to refine and scale their operations. Transitioning from vision to execution, we developed a comprehensive story mapping to ensure a seamless user experience. Our platform is structured into 5 key stages, starting with mentor matching, where user can find the perfect mentor based on specific career goals and industry. Next is engagement setup. Users and mentors schedule their initial meetings to outline their mentorship trajectory. The next is roadmap development. It allows for personalized action plan succeeded by customized content, where mentees receive tailored resources to support their journey. And lastly, the consume content stage provides ongoing access to learning materials, ensuring conscious development, get access to learning materials, regular interactions, updates, and events. This is our story mapping during our journey, and this is how we work on that. The next slide is roadmap. Our development roadmap is phased to ensure quality and effectiveness. We start with our MVP development, focusing on essential features like mentor and mentees profiles, mentor database, a basic AI for recommendations, and industry-specific search tools. Next, we'll enhance our platform with advanced AI algorithms for better matching and interactive models for engagement. We'll also introduce community features to broaden the networking scope. As we gather feedback, these features will be refined, leading to a diversified service offering, including new features like career coaching and direct job placement, and ensuring our platform not only meets but exceeds the expectations of our users.
Thank you, Tolu and Katerina. So we wanted to look at some of our competitors in the market. We looked at MentorMe, and they are a mentoring platform. However, they mainly help to mentor people that want to do Amazon FBA as well as drop shipping. We also looked at Intro, and they're an expert one-on-one advice. So if you want to have a meeting with Alex Ohanian, Reddit founder, Intro would be the platform for you. We also looked at Teachable. However, Teachable, the platform is mainly for content creators who want to teach their own courses. And we also looked at Female Factor, and they are a female jobs board. They do offer some level of mentoring. However, it's mainly helping women to move on to the next leadership role in the corporate world. So in terms of price, Intro was the most expensive. So for like their services, whether it's Alex Ohanian or Nate Becker, Oprah's interior designer, you need to spend thousands of pounds just to have a quick meeting with them. Expertise, this was an area that us, as a team, we wanted to ensure that we were reaching out for, we were going to have mentors that were experienced, that had a lot of expertise in their profession. And the main thing that really stands out is the AI matching. No one is currently really making use of AI and AI capabilities. And also we are empowering a very niche demographic, which is women in business, with businesses that are still in their infancy. So businesses that are 1 to 3 years old. And once again, AI tailored learning resources. So bearing this in mind, so our unique selling points are we are a bespoke service for women in early stages of business. So whether you want to accelerate to the next level with funding, you might need support to get you to your next, to your first £100,000. You might need support with your branding and marketing. And so we will be the service to provide this. So the AI, as I've just mentioned, this is one of our main features. So whether, the business goals, if you want to scale up, the learning resources, as I've mentioned before, so this will be really tailored to your needs and to your business. And also we've put down gender and cultural preferences, because from our interviews, this was something that came up. Women wanted to feel connected with a mentor that is from the same demographic, and so forth. And also you can connect with a pool of similar businesswomen. That was a key one too. So then we moved on to our paper prototypes, and this was the initial stages of our of creating our prototype. And some of us obviously created a lot, better features than others. But this was a good exercise in us to pretty much be able to validate some of our assumptions. Thank you.
Yeah, so after creating our paper prototypes, we use that as our MVP to connect back with our users, just to get their thoughts on
what they thought of our solution. So it's in an app form. So we used it along with what you'd later see our onboarding form, just to see what they thought of the idea so far. So we had some really interesting insights and feedback. So from the mentees, there was a lot of talk around flexibility, value, learning, insights, the bespokeness of our app, and the fact that it provided expertise. So underneath the flexibility, around flexibility, someone said they were really happy that they could change or swap mentors depending on their needs, or as they maybe started to scale up in their business. Another person felt it was good value as we offered a subscription service, which was a tiered subscription service. So again, depending on how much or little they wanted to use the platform, payments would be accordingly. And also another person, or again, we interviewed 10 people for feedback. So these were general consensuses that we pulled out. So again, the tailored support from mentors that are actually in the same industry as them was a big plus as well. Also valuing the business assessment given by the AI matching. So part of what our app would do is to assess, after data is inputted, that it would assess businesses and give almost like a health check of the business. So those insights were really valued. Sorry, yeah. So again, the mentors that we spoke with, again, using our paper prototypes and just via interviews, they also gave us really good feedback, which we could then feed into our main product. So they liked the productivity side of it, but would have liked to see that more seamless task management features were added that can manage goal setting and track progress. Mentors also felt like the section of our app which provides feedback and reviews would help them to improve the quality of their mentoring, encouraging their own personal growth. Impact. So again, some of the mentors were really driven by the opportunity to give back. So a quote here is, "I'm driven by the opportunity to give back to the community that helped me grow." And also others enjoyed the fact that they could network with other mentors and connect with others on the Elevate Her app. Also under innovation, someone said, "I would love to be a part of this innovative solution in business mentoring." Okay, so again, as part of our MVP, we started to create onboarding forms on Google, using Google, just again to test and see. So putting these to our users, we use this to again see what parts would work, and also to feed into the next part of it which would be again mentoring for the. This is a further mentoring form for the mentors. So both of these forms we would use to help validate our assumptions and also to feed into our wireframe, which we would then go on to create to further test and check with our users and validate our assumptions.
Okay, as you've heard, we worked extensively to gather insights to create an MVP for women who own small businesses. So first of all, we decided to create an app, and this app will incorporate our AI matchmaking technology. So what I'm going to do is go through the design and then the user journey. First, the logo on the top right-hand corner. The app's called Elevate Her. And starting from the bottom, the hands represent the mentor holding the business, aka sharing insights to help the business reach their goals. The middle part is the business, and the pink arrow represents her, the female founder.
So the user journey goes as the mentee will log in and then is welcomed with a welcome note about our AI matching technology, which matches the mentee with the best suited mentor. In order for us to do that, they have to fill in the onboarding form, which you saw the details in the previous slide. Once the form has been completed, the mentee will receive a AI-generated health check, which highlights their strengths, the areas of improvement, and recommendations. They are also able to download a full report at the bottom, at the button at the below. As part of the recommendations, they will also receive learning resources and be matched with the best suited mentors. The mentors also have a domain in the app. They also go through a login page, and also they also have to fill in an onboarding form just for us to use the AI to make sure they have the correct experience and they're the best suited mentors. The mentors will be successful business owners and entrepreneurs in the field, so make sure that obviously they're matched with the right mentee. So just wanted to acknowledge our team, starting with Rachna, who's our mentor. She has gracefully been so generous with her time every week, and she's been sharing her product management gems with us. And next, Eleni, who's obviously the founder, has also been sharing her gems as well and teaching us every week. So we're very grateful for that. And finally, the core team of amazing women, Tolu, Katerina, Samira, Elasine, and lastly me. 5 of us have come from different backgrounds, very diverse, from project management, marketing, UX, UI design, and IT. So we've been able to use our skills to be able to create this product. Thank you, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, ladies. The next team up is Uplifters. I would like to welcome to the stage Isoye, Christina, Carmen, and Chidom. Ladies.
Can I just start with no, just once. So hello, we are Uplifters. My name is Justina and my superpower is creativity.
Hello, my name is Carmen and my superpower is thinking outside the box.
Hello, my name is Bisoye and my superpower is problem solving.
And we have Chizam, who's at the moment not here, so we're gonna play the video.
Hello everyone, we are the Uplifters and my name is Chisom Domanyawu and my superpower is being optimistic. I will be starting off our presentation from here and we hope you enjoy it. We were given a unique opportunity space to help underrepresented women improve their financial health. And over the past few weeks, we have gone through a series of meetings, series of brainstorming sessions with our mentor Sachi, and series of personal and group research. And with this, we came up with these findings. Through our research, we discovered that the majority of 2.9 million single-parent families in 2022 were headed by a lone mother. Specifically, 2.5 million families, which accounts for 84% of that number, were headed by single mothers. And this led us to focus our target market, and we decided to improve the financial health of single mothers. And for us to do this, we had to undergo another batch of research. We had to tap into the heart of our target audience and understand what their pain was. And with this, we started off another round of market research. And during this phase, we streamlined our opportunities to 4 different segments: education, entrepreneurship, child support, and budgeting. We also had other areas, but we just decided to limit it to these 4. And we also looked into existing solutions of our opportunity space like Emma Hub, Gingerbread, Debt-Free, and others. But we found out that although these solutions existed, they lacked critical elements that were essential for our target audience. And in order for us to do this, we had to like tap into the hearts of our target audience and fully understand their pain points and their needs. And without doing that, we won't be able to like provide a solution for them. And with this, we had to go in with another round of research, and we started off with user interviews. And these interviews allowed us to understand the real life challenges or needs of single mothers. And we believe that this approach will enable us to create a solution that truly resonates with the benefits of our target audience. And at this point, I'll hand over the presentation to my colleague, who will take us through our findings from the user interview and our proposed solution. Thank you.
That's me. I'm going to guide you through our interview process. We have interviewed 20 single mothers, happen to be also a single mother. So let me introduce you the single mom usual journey. Imagine it's late night, your kids are finally in bed, there is so much to clean and tidy up, but it's the end of the month. So you're sitting with a statement and bill, trying to figure out your financial situation. But you feel confused, stressed, and overwhelmed because you are alone. So right now, who is helping 2.5 million of single mothers to take charge of their financial future? No one. From our interviews at the very beginning, we start seeing merging trends and themes like budgeting, financial goals, emotional impact, and income growth. So by synthesizing the most common pain points, desires, and opportunities, we craft a persona. She's Linda, 32 years old, single mom, and working full-time. She has used other budgeting apps, but she finds really difficult to stick to the budget. She's been trying to save money for a long time, but unexpected costs are a source of stress for her. She needs help, but she cannot find the help that will consider her personal challenge. So we need a solution. Bisoya?
Thank you, Carmen. After empathizing with our target audience, which is the single moms, it became evident that because these challenges are not one size fits all, it's important to create a personalized solution, a tailor-made one that the single mom would resonate with. Introducing the FinFit Mom app, a tailor-made financial solution, matching single moms with regulated and accredited financial advisors. And in order to explore this idea and bring this idea to life, we created a story map that detailed the user journey of both the single moms and the financial advisors, from first contacting our app to scheduling their first advisory session. And as you can see, there's the journey of the single mom and the financial advisor. It was also important for us to pinpoint assumptions. We do have assumptions, and we have to test those assumptions. So we explored several assumptions like the desirability assumption, usability, feasibility, viability, and ethical one. Then we went ahead to create an assumption map because it's necessary for us to test those assumptions that are very important and critical to the success of the product, and to make sure that we do have important evidence to those assumptions that are important. We also wanted to make sure that we are not just building the right thing for the single moms, but we are building the thing right. Oops. So in order to test these assumptions, we designed a low fidelity prototype to start testing the ideas and get feedback from the single mom and the financial advisors. So this is the first prototype we drafted, and it detailed the journey of the single mom from first discovering our app to scheduling our first session with the financial advisor. And on the other hand, we created the user story as well for the financial advisor, detailing their discovery of our app, the FinFeed Mom app, to scheduling the first, to getting matched with the single mom, and then getting their first adversary session. And it's interesting to know that when we presented this prototype, the single mom found the app very useful. And one of the critical assumptions that we needed to test is that are their financial advisors willing to give the initial session for free? Because we know that the rising cost of living has impacted everybody, particularly the single mom. And we discovered that in addition to the cost of running their lives, it currently costs between £75 to £300 per hour to get access to a financial advisor in the UK. And when we tested the prototype, we discovered that there is actually, there are financial advisors willing to give the first session to the single moms for free. And imagine the difference that the first session, not just first session to know if they're good fit, but first session filled with impactful, relevant financial advice. Imagine the impact that's going to make in Linda's life. And FinFeed Mom app will not just provide the first session for free for single moms with the advisors. We also intend to negotiate accessible rates for ongoing financial advice. So I know you may be wondering, how did you convince the financial advisors to give their time for free? And one of the things we did during contacting them is to emphasize the pro bono intention of the MVP, that's the minimum viable product. And we also emphasized the positive difference that they could make in the lives of the single moms. In addition to that, we presented the opportunity to expand their network of clients. Now I'll hand over to Justina.
Thank you. So after, I'm going to take you on a little journey with, at the beginning, we're going to start from single mothers. We created this high fidelity prototype. We're showing you only a few screens just to give you a feel of what it would look like. So after a single mom starts her account, then she answers a few questions about her financial goals or challenges. And after that, she's going to be visible on the app for the advisors. And plus she's going to be able to see advisors that are available for her based on her needs. After that, she can choose which advisor she would like to work with, and she sends a request. After the request is sent, she needs to wait for that request to be accepted by the financial advisor. So then she could see the calendar marked by the advisor about the availability. So this is the one. Okay. And this is the perspective of the financial advisor. They also need to create an account, answer a few questions about their specialization, experience, and then once that happens, their profile is visible for single moms. And they can obviously get many requests, and that we would leave that up to them, how many requests they accept, 1, 5, that's up to them. If they're generous, they can take more. And then obviously the calendar happens and they can arrange a meeting. So what makes us different? So unlike the others, we are the only product that offers one-to-one personalized advice to single mothers based on finances. And I want to show you the opportunity in the market. The research has found that 76% of single families in UK are in debt, and 90% of that 76 are single mothers. So there is a massive opportunity, market opportunity for that. And so our product would like to solve those problems with, like, help single mothers, obviously with budgeting, with saving, with investing, debt management, benefits navigation, and also financial education. Please, thank you. And this is a little glimpse into our exciting future plans. So we are planning, as Bisoya mentioned, to go for premium feature, which is going to be talking to the advisors if they would be happy to give like a very good rate for single moms for follow-up appointments. And also features for the application, like multiple languages feature or voice recognition feature, also high contrast themes. So we want to make or enhance accessibility of the app. And the conclusion. So do you remember Linda, the woman who's stressed, cannot sleep, looks at her paycheck, pay bills, whatever, whenever she gets money, she thinks how quickly it's gonna leave her account. So now, for the future, we are imagining that she found the app, the FinFit Mom, and maybe that wasn't a magical solution, but that was a glimpse, something sparked, and she found a financial advisor to help her journey through something better. So now she's not saying no to school trips, she's saying no to worries, and we hope that this is the beginning for her to have a control over her finances and taking one confident step at the time towards that goal. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies. That have been all of our presentations of the graduates. Now we will move on to the presentations of our consulting project, starting with Agne presenting Chapel. Yes, we will play the video.
Hello everyone, my name is Kate and I'm co-founder of Startup Chaffer. We're creating an educational platform aimed to transform higher education through technologies. Our target audience are business schools and MBA programs and corporations. Talking with many business school students and institutions, and after thorough research, we concluded that digital generation is no longer interested in long and boring lectures. They struggle to absorb large volumes of information, especially those who run their own businesses or hold high positions in the company. The digital generation wants to receive information that is concise, clear, and engaging. Business schools in turn still follow the traditional education format. This old-fashioned approach reduces the effectiveness of understanding the problem because there is not much more practice. So, we are creating a platform for easier, more interactive, beneficial way of learning in game format. Students will go not only through business simulation, but will study real business cases through interactive games and short videos. This approach will help them make important decisions in business schools to modernize the education format and not lose their students. And as I said, we have two parts. One of them is business simulation, where students will learn all aspects of businesses and will compete against each other. And the second part is more theoretical. You can see it on the screen. So here students will study real business cases in an interactive way. So instead of long lectures on case studies, which usually take 20-40 pages or more, students will watch short videos, and instead of just discussing the problem with the professor and the team, they will make their own decisions in the practice. After solving a business case, students will receive an analysis of their solution and a case analysis from the professors. And this part we did with Wagner on Figma, and I want to give her a word and she can explain a UI experience. So thank you, Agna, and thank you for everyone for your attention.
So hello everyone, I'm Agne. It's nice to be here. I'm a Kimolian graduate myself. It's been about a year since I graduated. So first I would like to start with a story. It's a story when me and my friend started. It's a story when me and my friend started playing this open world RPG game. It was around 2 years ago, and the game was called Genshin Impact. The company is MiHoYoverse, a Chinese company. So it's an open world game where you get
to have different characters, and you can explore different worlds, fight different enemies, collect materials. And the best part is that you get to level up your characters, right? So to do that, you need to have certain books, which you get as a reward for completing quests or fighting bosses. You also need to ascend your character by gathering different materials that you get from bosses. So when you get to level 80, that's where it gets really hard. You have more books, but to ascend your character, you need to put more effort into having those materials. So once you ascend your character, you instantly want to level it up by 10 levels. And that's where the problem came. As you could see, you had to continuously press 1+ button and in that way level up. So approximately you would need more than 50 books to do that. So that was very frustrating and time consuming for me to keep on clicking one button. My friend, on the other hand, she did not find that troublesome. So that just shows that there are two different types of users, and we would represent two different personas. So 2 years after, I finally got the auto add button, and that made me really happy. So that just shows you that one button can just instantly uplift user experience. Okay. So moving on to how that translates to the project that me and Ekaterina did. So one of the features that we decided to implement is having virtual assistant. Virtual assistant is supposed to make you feel like it's your social buddy. So you wouldn't feel alone, and it also will help you to enhance your gaming experience overall. As you know, reading a book for some people might be boring. For others, it might not. But just having that option to address all different types of user personas is exactly what we need. Again, another feature is having the story skip option. Going back to my example, me and my friend has done all the quests and side quests of that game. I, on the other hand, avoid all the quests because they don't have the story skip option. So if they were to have that story skip option, I, as a user, would feel more in control, and that would cause me to determine maybe I would love to read one part and skip the other. But currently, if there is no such option, that leaves me feeling frustrated. So another feature is having that rewards and points system. If some of you have played games, you all know that most games have that feature. So what is the reasoning behind that? Usually, we crave rewards because it spikes our dopamine levels. And our dopamine levels means that we feel happier and we crave that satisfaction. That's why games can be addictive. But if we were to put it in the learning environment, what would happen is we would strive to learn more and more. And that is an example of using it in a positive learning environment. Another feature is having the what if option. Maybe throughout our lives, we wondered what if it would be like if we made a different choice or decision in our life. How would our lives turn out to be? So, for example, how would my life would have turned out to be if I never left Lithuania, which I'm originally from, and I came to UK? However, I don't think about that because I'm really happy to be here, and hopefully we all are content with our lives. But having that control option in the game would be amazing. So when we talk about inspiration and visual design, the way I design things, I look at different inspiration around me and maybe something that is related to game. That doesn't mean that I will take everything from this inspiration. It might be that I like the way the interface looks like. Maybe I like the font. Maybe it's the line that I find interesting. Or maybe it's the UX design that makes me feel good. So once you take that inspiration, you spike your creativity levels and you get into the mood board. So these are the images that Katerina helped me to make, that she made, sorry, using AI. And these are the buttons that I've designed using that inspiration. So the look and feel should be light interface futuristic design. So the key takeaway to take from this is that we can find examples of good and bad UX UI design all around us. And most of the times we already have the knowledge, but we don't know how to implement that. And the reason why we learn so much through failure is because failure is a negative emotion. And once we fail, we feel like we never want to fail again. So that's why if we keep on failing, that means we will learn quickly and in the best way possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Agne. The next presentation will be Eva presenting Sonia, a project that we both have worked on.
Hi, everybody. My presentation won't be as inspirational as the other ones, but I promise I'll keep it short. So I'm presenting my journey with Sonia, the journey into the unknown. So I started like all of you graduates. I made inspirational project, but then I really needed a job. I needed to pay my bills. And I wanted to gain more tech experience. So I was invited to join Sonia. Yeah, I was lucky enough to be part of Kimolian and not only to have one woman believing in me, but two of them, Kasia and Eleni. They supported my journey. So I started working with for Sonia 2 months ago. Sonia is an identity app. It's a platform that keeps us verifying our documents, and you probably all took photo of yourself and made even their products. They're operating in Europe and Asia. And this was something completely new to me because it was very tech-oriented and not as inspirational as the other projects I worked on. How did our day start? We usually had a daily meeting, daily stand-up, and very quickly I started leading these daily meetings. So I thought the main challenge would be talking to developers, helping them, finding support for them, or maybe a bit pushing them to be faster. But actually, the main challenge was something different, not expected. It was getting my kids to school on time. I'm a single mom. The meeting started at 8:30. So I needed to find a way to manage my daily meetings, to be there on time. I enrolled my son to a breakfast club. It starts an hour before the school. And this was actually a challenge I didn't overcome. I was successful mainly, but still I had days when I was a couple of minutes late for the meeting. So that's one of the challenges that single moms stumble upon while working. I'll continue talking about the tools we used. So probably majority of you use Trello. I love Trello. It's great for organizing tasks, for monitoring projects and what needs to be done. I did it with Kasia, and I love Trello. It's very well organized, and I really recommend it for using. The other one is Slack. I don't know if you used it, but for me, this is not my favorite software, to be honest. Had many channels, many chaotic conversations, and I would like to see a platform a bit better than this one, more organized, more non-chaotic, user-friendly. So my big challenge was codes, dealing with codes. I had a bit of a phobia, but actually I needed to test the product. So I needed to use coding, right? The first day it was terrifying. I thought if I change something in codes, the whole app would crash, and it was pretty scary. But after support of my colleagues and after patiently watching their videos, I recorded our meetings. Now I love codes. I like messing with them. I like changing whatever I can, and it's pretty interesting to work with them. The other challenge, Figma, when you see screens like this and when you haven't dealt with that, it can be pretty challenging, and especially this. But again, when you do it correctly, when you have right people that are mentoring you and that are patient enough, anything is possible. So I learned to work with Figma as well. Learning experience. Everything looks scary at the beginning. Not to be afraid to seek assistance when needed. What's crucial, the power of supportive environment. And sometimes we need the reminder of how capable we are. Nothing is impossible. So if I overcame my challenges, my phobia of coding, my phobia of unknown software, I got from the point when I was scared to learn new software to the point where I'm looking forward to see what else can be done. So yeah, I just really wish you all to not be scared of anything. Just believe in yourself, and not every job will be perfect. You will have a bit boring jobs like this, but they will get you to the point where you will find the job you like. Okay.
So that brings us to the end, and thank you so much for patiently being with us. I'd like to close with one quote that was read in the last graduation, and I think it really reflects what we've witnessed today. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not darkness, that most frightens us. You ask yourself, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Thank you so much for joining us today. I think it's time, guys.